I've always been drawn to card games. There's something I find very engaging about them. The deck building, mind games, the thrill of winning plays, and the puzzle of finding a way out. Before the pandemic, I played Magic: The Gathering during breaks at the office, which I learned from a senior colleague, and I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm an introvert, so I didn't always dive into conversations. But card games gave me a way to connect, through competition, shared interests, and mutual respect. We didn't have to say much, as the gameplay said everything. When COVID hit, pieces of that world shattered and disappeared. No more matches besides 7-Eleven stores. No more new booster packs opening with friends. Just isolation. And then there was Hearthstone. I saw it from a YouTube advertisement before, and I dabbled with it during my third-year college days, but during the lockdown it became my daily habit. It was convenient, portable, and bursting with character. Hearthstone is an animated digital card game that's not all about serious strategizing and grinding. For me, Hearthstone is a really fun game. It leaned into the absurdity of impactful card effects and board clears. Even the randomness of things made it exciting. Well, or frustrating depending on what side of randomness hit you. But that's what makes Hearthstone. It played up the drama with over-the-top animations and voice lines, which I really love.
Unity, precision, perfection.
It was a stage, and every match felt like a mini performance. You weren't just playing a deck. You were playing a role, a class, a story, with someone on the other side of the board spamming emotes or roping to stall every turn. But even then, I loved the game as it was something more of comfort, challenge, and most of all, connection. When the world shut down and social circles vanished almost like overnight, Hearthstone filled the silence. The game lit up my screen with flashy spells, minions taunting me with loud battle cries, and sneaky death rattles. Hearthstone gave me reasons to think strategically, to laugh at a good RNG, to climb ranks and to grind, even if just about getting to the next reward tier in Arena. I got 12 wins in an old Arena format only once, by the way. But going back, in the hardest of times for most, this seemingly light-hearted game became an extension of my life. Every day I'd make my own snack, sit by my window and launch Hearthstone on my laptop. Sometimes I'd jump into ranked matches, tweaking decks and trying new builds, from Token Druid to Tess Rogue. Other times I'd lose myself in Arena mode, that exciting experience of random draft picks and pure card knowledge. It was the mode that forced me to be creative, to adapt on the fly and pick cards with synergy and natural curves to make the most of limited resources. There was something thrilling about climbing the arena ladder, knowing each win brought more rewards, and each loss meant starting all over. And when I wanted to slow down, there were the solo adventures. The way Hearthstone wove narratives into those encounters was underrated. They were funny, surprisingly heartfelt, and even challenging at most.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise. Well, hello, handsome. I look good.
I have to net deck my Lich King run against his minions. Exploring the lore of the League of Explorers or the twisted plots of the Witchwood gave me a deeper appreciation for the Warcraft universe. These solo missions weren't just side content, they were bite-sized campaigns, carefully designed to test your knowledge of game mechanics while immersing you in playful storytelling. One of the things that made Hearthstone shine, especially in a time of emotional dullness, was how alive it felt. Playing a card wasn't just an action, it was a moment. Tyrion's inspiring line when summoned,
"Put your faith in the light!"
or the terrifying battle cry of Yogg-Saron triggering a dozen random spells.
Bow down before the god of death.
Everything had character. The card art, the flavor text when inspecting the cards, the little nods to the lore of the Warcraft universe, these weren't just flavor. They were memory anchors. I also remember how I felt when a perfectly timed Zephyrs the Great gave me the exact card I needed for lethal or for board clear. Or when my opponent unleashed a golden Nozoth bringing back every minions I just cleared, I can't help but only stare helplessly at an overwhelming force. Or when that opponent has to coin Barnes and summon Yashraj with big minion each turn. And who could forget that Van Cleef on turn 3? These experiences stuck with me. They broke up the monotony of our everyday lockdown setup. And as someone who processes the world emotionally and inwardly, Hearthstone's over-the-top presentation actually helped me stay present. I played on the Americas region server. That meant I was constantly matched with players from North America, Latin America, and sometimes even Europe depending on the queue. Those usernames popping each time a match is found were brief windows into other lives. I even became online friends with some of them. We get tilted when a card backfired. And we emote spammed when things got ridiculous. In a time when global travel was impossible and borders felt like walls, Hearthstone allowed me to duel someone from Mexico, then Canada, then from the United States, all within an hour. And every single match reminded me we were all still here. Still playing, still trying and alive. It's funny how something as simple as a card game can remind you of humanity. Let's be honest, Hearthstone is grindy. It will take effort to build your collection. But that grind gave structure to my days. Even on days when I felt drained, logging in and completing a quest felt like winning something. I also started experimenting with weird decks, off-meta builds, meme decks, control hybrids that really shouldn't work. But sometimes they did. I remember my one homebrew control priest deck running Bonsandi with Katrina Muerte and Nozoth. That deck carried me farther than I expected just because no one saw it coming. And that's the thing. Hearthstone wasn't just about copying net or meta decks. The game rewarded experimentation, especially when randomness is factored in. Hearthstone lets you try strange combos, bizarre synergies, and celebrate them when they paid off. It is a game that embraces chaos and fun, and as someone stuck inside with too many serious headlines and too little laughter, that felt healing. Let's talk about solo content again because it deserves more love. The dungeon runs, puzzle labs, and narrative arcs like Galakrond's Awakening were full of creativity. They pushed me to think in different ways than standard gameplay. I was crafting a journey with my deck building. Each boss had quirks. Each run demanded adaptation. And the storytelling, it was tongue-in-cheek brilliance.
There is a price to be paid for such a gift. And many eagerly accept the bargain. The righteous and the meek may recoil at its cost. But they have no vision.
I felt like I was part of a Saturday morning cartoon but with high-level strategy. For someone who grew up loving single-player RPGs, games that can tell stories even through mechanics and gameplay really has a special place in my heart. As time went on and lockdowns persisted, I realized that Hearthstone didn't just entertain me. I was reminded of what I loved before the world changed. It made me draw again. I started drawing Hearthstone cards like I used to draw a Dark Magician girl from Yu-Gi-Oh! And more importantly, it showed me that connection doesn't always have to be loud or verbal. Sometimes it's just two people clicking and turn back and forth, trading blows in a game that neither of us took too seriously, and yet there's already connection in that moment. Hearthstone helped me hold on to who I was before and in a way who I wanted to be. Strategic, creative, quietly competitive and always looking for a bit of magic in the mundane. Eventually the world started opening up again. Offices resumed their on-site work. Friends met face to face. But I still come back to Hearthstone. Not as a crutch now, but as a companion. It reminds me of a time I got through, a time I survived, and how I did it, through cards, combos and countless fireballs to the face. Even now, when I log in and see some new solo adventure or a new keyword, I feel a little spark. A memory racing me back when I was going through practice matches against other classes. Hearthstone isn't just a game I play. It's a part of my story. And if you've ever felt something like that, if a game ever helped you connect or even just breathe easier, I'd love to hear it. Let me know your story in the comments. What game carried you through a dark time? And if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, please subscribe to my channel and leave a like or subscribe or comment. And share this video. See you next game and remember, sometimes it's okay to let Yogg take the wheel.
Here's to the winner.